Ladies and gentlemen, veteran broadcaster and all-around classy dame Eleanor Schano is here. Host right now, by the way, these days of Age-Wise on WQED.
We're going to change the name to Age-Less, don't you think?
Actually, I do think that. That's an excellent idea. Not that there's anything wrong with Age-Wise, it's fine, but Ageless is better.
I was just having the best time out there. You have more fun talking to yourself.
Yes.
You really do.
Well, if I'm just talking to myself, then what are you doing on the show, Missy? you gotta hope somebody's watching out there. Just
listen, I brought that. You know, we have something in common.
What's that?
We have the same hairdresser. And
yes, Gino Emilio of Zazu Salon.
Sent some super shine. He said you needed some super shine. It's just
always trying to peddle that crap.
Don't you want to know what I think about the bush?
I would love to find out what you think.
Well, number one, I think that Barbara probably said it best. She said it's payback time, W.
Grandma Barbara, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine any bartender calling 911 when somebody is handing a false ID.
Yeah, that's it. You can see that
kind of a little overkill, isn't it?
You certainly led to believe that they are not Bush fans and perhaps loyal Democrats and perhaps wanted to stir up some trouble and called 911.
And I agree with one of the callers. I really don't think people care all that much.
I don't think they care, but I think they're interested enough to buy magazines. I mean, I guess we'll find out. Not that, I mean, you know, I'm generalizing, of course. You probably won't care. You probably won't buy the cover.
No, I probably won't. Probably won't.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't care about them anymore. I want to talk about you, unless you feel like talking about them.
No. Let's talk about what it used to be like here about 20, 30 years ago.
And that's when you worked here.
Absolutely.
Well, why don't we just show a clip just to give people the flavor and the feel. She was a remarkable anchor woman here, but also she was, I believe, the area's first consumer reporter.
Well, actually, John, I think I was the area's first woman everything, because there weren't any women. I mean, if I could give you a snapshot of what broadcasting was like 40, 50 years ago, women just didn't exist. So, you know, I didn't know that we weren't welcome, so I just kind of went barging in, and I became the first weathercaster. I think you're talking about the Action Line reporter.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
That's why I equate the two to be the same.
Right.
Are they not
well,
one
it was, yeah, it really was. I was the Action Line reporter, and actually Wayne Van Dyne followed me when I moved from the Action Line reporter to the anchor desk.
Yes, I have that
He
clip.
is still doing that.
Yes, today.
And
we'll show that clip later. But right now, well, let me just show you. Back in her Action Line days, from, I don't know, circa late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, probably 1971, 72.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, then, Eleanor Schano.
Tonight, not one, but two follow-ups to report, and the folks down at City Hall really deserve a big round of applause. Once again, they came through, responded immediately to a personal request from Action Line. Now, both complaints came from the same street in the West End. It was about the middle of July that the folks began screaming about this eyesore at 38 Wabash Avenue. A building abandoned for a long time had nearby merchants and homeowners frantic. It was a potential tinderbox, wide open, used almost every night as a haven for precocious youngsters and derelicts. Well, we notified the city's building inspector's office. They ran a check, told us the owner had been notified last January, given 30 days to fix up or tear down. Well, since nothing was done, the city went out, they condemned the building, boarded it up, and at least it's some progress. Now the folks can at least sleep these nights. We want to say thank you. Sometimes we wonder why it takes a public airing to have these problems corrected. But then I suppose that's what Action Line is really all about.
There you were.
Wow, 30 years ago.
People cleaned up the dirty building.
You know, it still works. I think that's one of the powers of television, that, you know, really, you do get to see things done when you... the consumer reporter and the Action Line reporter.
I actually used to do that in Orlando, and it was satisfying when it worked.
Yeah.
But did they ever tell you, hey, they're advertisers, Eleanor, lay off, or did they give you?
No, never.
Good.
No,
That's great.
No. You were a newsman too, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
A newsman. And so, do you miss any of that? Do you miss?
No, I'm having the time of my life. I have never had as much fun as I'm having right now, because I'm doing exactly what I love to do. I decided about, I didn't decide, I reinvented myself. Let's face it, I mean, who wants a woman on television at my age, right? So you have to reinvent yourself. Come to think of it, with the same hairstyles, you are allowed to have a few little gray hairs. Have you ever seen a woman on television
With gray hair in this kind of a role, not that I can think of. No.
And you never, ever will.
Ann Bishop was a
She was
legendary actor in
blonde.
Miami.
She was blonde, very blonde.
Really?
Very blonde. Anne did not have a gray
Your
hair.
saying Ann Devlin. Yeah, but she didn't have gray hair.
But Ann Devlin was 24 years
But
old.
Debbie, your producer, is insisting that Ann Devlin had gray
She
hair.
was prematurely gray.
Does Ann
now-
Devlin want that broadcast?
And,
I know.
but Ann Devlin is now a blonde.
Yes, she's now blonde.
Right?
She's erased that.
Right. You will never see a woman with gray hair on television. There is a double standard, John.
Oh, definitely.
It's much easier for a man to grow older on television than it is for a woman.
Well, do you feel all the managers that were running the place then, are they gone now?
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, a couple of them will run right out of this building.
Okay, good. So I can talk about them in the abstract, and I don't have to get in trouble.
In fact,
did you think they prematurely pushed you out of here because?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Good.
I was young when I left here.
Okay,
I really
good.
was. I was young enough. No, I went from here to Channel 2.
And they had many years in.
Yeah, I had many years there, and then I left Pittsburgh, and I went to Florida for a while, and then I came back. And when I came back, I didn't even, at that point, I really didn't even try to get a job in television. And I went to work for a dear old friend of mine, Bob Dickey, who is the owner and president of KTV. Worked there until I was asked to host a show on WQED, and this was 11 years ago, called H-Wise. And some of my friends said, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to host a show for, I mean, you're just kind of going to create an image for yourself that, and I said, well, yeah, but it's the right image. And it's been a real comfortable fit, and it's wonderful, and I've kind of become that's my mission now. We preach and we teach and we say it's okay to grow older. And in fact, there was a commentator, a reporter on Tonight, and I got to tell you, on another station, that referred to, well, she was covering a senior fest, and nice group of people, and really intelligent, articulate people, and they had a lot of wonderful things to say. She came out of the report, and she sat there and said to the anchor, I just love those old folks. I love those.
What a patronizing fuss.
Yeah. I mean, those are the people we send to the home, aren't they? Send them right over to the old folks.
Yeah, aren't they cute? They're like puppies.
That's right. That's about as politically incorrect as you can get. So I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I love those old.
What station was it?
It was that one out on
Not the one
Parkway.
downtown, but the
no,
other
not the
one.
one. The other one. Yeah, not this one, not the one downtown, but that other one out in the Parkway.
But was Scotty Baker involved in any of this? Because he's been on the Night Talk show.
Yeah. No,
yes, he's the anchor they were
yeah, he
fishing
was
back
the
then.
anchor.
Well, he probably told
who
us to say
kind of
that.
smiled and said,
Great. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. 333 PCNC. If you've got any questions for Eleanor, I have many, and we have more clips. So stay with us on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel. Moments away from continuing our scintillating interview with, let's make up some new words. Let's be bushies. Eleanor Schano will be back with us in just a moment. Tomorrow, on the incredible Friday Night Free-For-All, barring an unforeseen worsening of the illness and wimping out by yours truly, Melissa Hart, the lovely and talented Congresswoman. Heather Heidelbaugh, the lovely and talented Republican attorney, formerly a candidate for U.S. attorney, but something didn't work out. Ricky Santorum didn't have the clout or something. And the lovely and talented Democratic activist Diana, the preacher gal, Wentz. It'll be a cat fight you won't want to miss. Political free-for-all night. That's tomorrow. Back in a moment with Eleanor Schano on Night Talk.
Marianne, since most of our neighboring states do not have a similar regulation, what about people traveling into Pennsylvania from out of town? What do they do if they need a hypodermic needle for insulin?
What happens to a person who finds himself in this condition, I really would hesitate to say.
So what's the answer? Well, Mary Ann suggests that anyone sharing her concern write to the Pennsylvania Pharmacy Board and ask that that ruling be rescinded. Or you can contact your state representative and ask that legislation be introduced that would exclude diabetics from this kind of ruling.
Oh. Eleanor Schano, back when she was a big do-gooder for the world at large in the Action Line days. You don't even remember that?
I don't. I mean, women's hairstyles really change a lot. And, wow. I don't know.
You didn't like the hair? I thought the hair looked good. I mean, it looks very good now.
I think those were the days when we wore wigs. A lot of us wore wigs.
Was that a wig?
I don't know. I don't have to look at it.
Right. Here is Lori is on the line for Eleanor Schano. Lori?
Yes, Eleanor. My question is, do you ever consider retiring?
Why would I want to retire? Why would anybody want to quit doing something that they love to do? A lot of people ask me that question, but I really have no intention. In fact, Jim Roddy and I talk about this frequently. Jim and I are just about the same age. Jim is going to retire when he's 92, and I think I'm going to think about it around the same age.
Jim hits on you from time to time, I would assume?
No, I'm not. Jim Roddy, our county executive.
That's what I'm talking about. Or Hef, as we call him here.
What would make you think such a thing?
Come on, Jim. This guy's got a twinkle in his eyes.
Oh, he's just a lot of vitality, a lot of energy. A
little sexual charisma going on there.
Nobody has ever asked Jim Roddy if he's going to retire, have they?
Probably not.
Again, the gender discrimination.
But they have said, I mean, I don't disagree with you at all. There's complete gender discrimination. But I think they've at least
And he has gray hair.
Well, that's true. And yet he gets to be the big public figure. But they have asked him, you don't need this. Why do you bother to do it? Because made many millions, I believe.
That's right. I don't think that at this point I'm not working because I really need to work. I mean, honestly,
I'm sure.
I don't have
totally believe
to
that.
work. I am working because I love what I do, and I can't imagine doing anything that would be more enjoyable. And I do think that what we do at WQED is making a little difference. I think that we're out there trying to say it is okay to grow older. And
how about the new generation of broadcasters that doesn't seem to think one of the points of broadcasting is necessarily to make a difference? That's sort of an old school, I think, line of thinking and a good one.
Well,
you seem like you still carry it and perhaps always did.
The new school of broadcasting is just a constantly changing thing. I only can really, I guess, talk about what's happening in the news end of the business. And when I started as a news reporter and as a news anchor, there was really no competitive pressure, John, because news was not meant to make money. It was not a profit center. All we were supposed to do was do the most straightforward and the best newscast so that we could be a nice lead-in for the prime time evening programming. Well, today, as we know, I mean, this is all, it's all bottom line. It's all economically driven. And I don't know that it's quite as good as it used to be.
Let me throw in a question from Martha for Eleanor Schano. Martha?
Good evening, Eleanor.
Hi, Martha.
I enjoy listening to you on your age-wise show. I'm about that age.
Thank you.
And also, I wanted to know if Ricky works out at QED.
No, Ricky retired, probably about a year and a half ago. I speak to her frequently. She and her husband, Tom, are just enjoying life. They're enjoying children and grandchildren, and she's having a wonderful time. And Ricky is just fine, and I'm sure that she's going to be very happy that she
remember her dog, Copper?
Oh, Copper died many, many years ago. Oh, poor Copper, my gosh.
Well, that was when junior high quiz was on. She used to have Copper.
Right. And that was probably 30 years ago.
Oh,
I think Copper was pretty old even when he worked at Channel 4.
And did you ever hear from Josie Carey? Is she still?
No, Josie's very active, though, in little theater work. I haven't seen her. She did a children's show for a while on WQED. And now I understand that she's doing a lot of acting.
You ever hear from any of these people, Martha?
Off and on.
Huh.
I said, Fred Rogers was talking about Josie Carey when he used to work with her.
You were hanging out with Fred the other day?
No, they interviewed him. He's retiring.
I heard that.
And they had him on Channel 2.
Well, Fred is really reinventing himself again. He's not retiring.
No, he's going into a different field.
Right. He has writing and so many things to do. They have thousands and thousands of episodes of The Neighborhood, and it will go on for another millennium. So he just decided that he's not going to produce The Neighborhood anymore, and I see Fred a lot. Fred swims about 5 miles every day. He walks. Fred is a wonderful guy, and he walks from where he lives to where he swims because he doesn't want to pay for the parking.
Oh, so Fred's a wonderful guy who happens to be a little bit cheap.
Well, he's practical, you know. That's
Why does that
Fred.
make sense somehow? Makes sense that Fred Rogers would be a little bit
Well, he's just a nice
fastidious.
kind of simple little guy who doesn't understand why you would have to pay money to park your car.
Seems like all the wealthy people are cheap, though. That's probably why I'm not wealthy. Or that and a myriad of other reasons.
But you look so, you really look rich.
Yeah, right. Here's Dorothy for, that's rich. Here's Dorothy for Eleanor Schano.
Hi,
Dorothy.
Hi, Eleanor.
Hi, Dorothy.
I have been following your career for years. I remember when you were a model. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you do have a wonderful memory. I hardly remember that.
But you were, and you looked so great. And I'm so happy that for our age, that you could look so well, and you are making other women our age to feel better about themselves. I want you to keep up the good work.
Well, thank you so much. I think we are wonderful.
I think
mean,
we
what's
are
wrong
too.
with our age?
And I think if we keep active and keep healthy, we're doing fine.
I have never felt better in my life.
And you
I've
look
never
great.
had more energy. I've never really been happier in my whole life.
Dorothy, you figure Jim Roddy's got to be hitting on her, wouldn't you think? Looking this good?
I don't know, but she's right about the gray hair.
Oh, yeah, absolutely
Yeah,
she is, yeah.
she's a lot gray hair, but the women aren't.
No. And you know, the other thing, the women aren't allowed, they're not even allowed to, like, you know, gain a couple of pounds. I mean, as soon as you do, they say, well, honey, don't you think maybe you should pass dessert tonight? But has a boss ever told you that maybe you should change anything? No, because the boss is sitting there with a
Well, to stop wearing the crummy suits, maybe. But no, you're right. Generally speaking, there's much more attention paid to the women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although they've changed David Johnson's hair about 5,000 times since I've been here.
Yeah, I haven't seen David this time, but
He may be
David did go into that really kind of dark, and then he's back with a
He's
little
back with little
gray.
red symbols. I think, yeah, looks good. And I got to take a break in a minute, but what, people ask you this all the time, but what the hell, who needs original questions? You do look very, very good. And so everyone must ask you the secret.
Well, my secret was revealed. I finally made the centerfold.
Did you?
Made the centerfold.
Man, I'll buy a copy of that.
Pittsburgh magazine.
Oh.
Pittsburgh magazine. And they had asked me to write a little article about, you know, feeling good and being fit, and I did. And I don't really care that much about being thin, but I do care about being fit. And so I do certain things all the time, and I go walking every day, every single day. And that's my time, and it's
Consistent exercise.
consistent exercise.
And plus Gino and Emilio at Azaz's Salon, the fine hair salon that
Yeah,
you frequent.
they're just so proud of you because they told me.
Because they have such horrible hair before they got a hold
No,
of me.
well, they said something about Jay Leno.
Yeah, they're gonna
Leno
what they're gonna do is give me a chin transplant, and they're thinking my career will take off.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, more Eleanor Schano, more clips in a moment.
Maybe you've wondered just what Action Line is really all about. Well, over the years, it's been a lot of things. Sometimes it fills potholes or gets stop signs or streetlights. Sometimes it solves traffic problems and parking dilemmas. Then it also has a human, gentle side, too, like the time it helped a little girl who needed surgery to correct a protruding ear, or the time it got heat and water for the elderly invalid lady living alone. Oh, there are other times that it handles mudslides or motorbikes or moves statues. Therefore, I have rather mixed emotions tonight as I turn the Action Line department over to a dear friend. Yes, as of now, Action Line has a new ear, a new helping hand. Here's your Action Line reporter, Wayne Van Dyne. So the name is Wayne and the number 323-1717.
I have to remember that, Eleanor. I've watched with great interest and admiration the way you've handled the Action Line, and I'm looking forward to the assignment a great deal.
He just couldn't wait to bump you off, could he? He was the young and hungry little punk.
That was quite a time, and you want to know why I turned it over to Wayne Van Dyne? Well, because it was about 1972, and the federal government said, looks like all those people on the evening news are very white and very male, and we need a little diversity, and you better find a woman. And so I was the woman, and it was affirmative action that put me in the anchor seat.
So you're very pro-affirmative action these days.
I sure am. It's certainly...
Did you feel resentment from some of the men around the station, either whether in management or just colleagues or whomever?
Well, no, I really, you know what, I've never felt resentment toward anybody in this business because I've had no reason to. I mean, the business has been really good to me. And, of course, I was, I was pretty excited. I mean, I was the first woman anchor. There were no women anchors. I was the first woman anchor, so that was really, I wasn't particularly caring at that moment whether it was the federal government or what.
Right,
I was just happy I was there. But it never would have happened if it had not been for the affirmative action.
Sexual harassment back then? No more than
I
these days?
could probably write a book, and every woman in broadcasting could. You know, we were invisible except if we wore very short skirts. If we were, I mean, it was yes, a lot of sexual harassment. But you didn't know what it was and who were you going to complain to.
Right, nobody would have cared, probably.
No, because it kept going all the way right up to the top.
Not like these days when none of the people here would ever do that. I want to get that straight. Got to keep the paycheck coming at least for a little while.
Are you having fun?
Yes, I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
No, I mean, are you having fun doing this instead of news?
Yes, very much. I would, if I had to go back to news,
Yes,
I would probably shoot myself shortly afterwards.
I mean, you must have been winking and nodding and raising your eyebrow and being very politically incorrect.
Right, and then the boss would pull me into the office and yell, and I had to get out. Is there any other type of program you would like to do? You're doing this public affairs sort of do good for the community kind of program?
Well, I don't think it's too good for the community. I think it's I mean, it's an issue-oriented show. We actually, you know, people say, and Debbie is my producer, and she's here with me tonight, and I don't think there's anything that we don't do on age-wise, and we are going to, if I have anything to do with it, we are going to change the name to Ageless because we are becoming an ageless society. I just don't think that age is as relevant as it used to be. People are living longer, people are more active, people are more involved, and I love what I'm doing right now. But I certainly always have an open mind, and I'm always looking for the the next opportunity, maybe to do something else. I want to do a lot of things. I love to write.
What would you like? Would you like to write a book, a screenplay?
Of course. No, I think everybody wants to write a book someday.
So what would you write about? I mean, you could write about your career, obviously, or you could write about...
I'd like to write about, women in this business and what has happened and how women's careers have evolved over the years.
So do you acknowledge, or would you acknowledge that even though they have a long way to go, they have it a lot better today? I mean, how much progress has been made and how far is there to go?
Well, there's no question. I mean, there is no question. Probably two-thirds of the women graduates, the journalism school graduates now are women, and there are more women in broadcasting today than ever before. I still think that there's a great deal of disparity in wages, I'm sure. I think that women have a long way to go. My big mission now, my big crusade is to help women with age discrimination, because I think that we're going to see certainly a lot of 20-somethings coming on the scene. I think that you can watch very carefully as soon as a woman reaches 40. She is really being studied very carefully.
This may have been a coincidence, but you remember the Monday Night Football woman, I could have the name wrong, but Leslie Visser, I believe, was suddenly out, and the cute young woman, also a good sports reporter, but younger, arguably cuter, Melissa Stark, I think her name is, moved in. Only within the last couple of years.
And nationally, we still have Barbara Walters, and Barbara has created a niche, and I mean, she's a one of a kind, and I think Diane Sawyer is in her 50s now, and we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, because this is still an industry that is very taken with youth. We live in a youth-oriented society, which is not something, it's just crazy.
I totally agree. Did you have any role models then, or since there wasn't anybody?
No, I did not. I did not have a role model. There was not a woman working in broadcasting when I started. So, no, I had no one to look up to.
You put the broad in broadcasting.
As a matter of fact, I remember a general manager once saying, "We don't need any broads in broadcasting."
Whatever happened to him?
I think he's a guard at the penitentiary in Kansas City the last time I heard.
And then we had I thought you were kidding.
No, then we had a general manager that used to be here that he is, I think he's in the cement business or heavy hauling equipment business.
Like the cement business in Jersey?
Yeah, out somewhere out in the West Coast, and we sent a lot of people west from this station.
Dick says in my ear, California. So you know this guy, Dick?
Is he in California?
He's California, so whatever. So you feel like you've extracted revenge and all the evil managers.
Dick has been here a long time, too.
You feel as though you've extracted revenge and all the evil bosses from your past.
I think I've survived a lot of them. And that is the best revenge.
It is, isn't it? And you're still broadcasting, still doing a great job, and still having a nice time.
I'm having a good time. I'm having a wonderful time. And I'm really happy to be here. It's so nice to be here and to be sitting up and be awake because I do watch your show. I do enjoy it. And I probably watch it like a lot of people with the big thing of popcorn, all propped up in bed with the magazines. And it's kind of nice to be out this way.
And then you hear the knock on the door. It's like, look, Jim, I told you. All right, Eleanor Schano, thanks so much for coming.
Good. I hope you feel better.
Thank you. I will. Age-wise, every weekend on WQED, Saturdays, and a rebroadcast Sundays.
Right.
Back in a moment with David Johnson. He's an old guy that is going to be pushed out the door soon, maybe. Or maybe not. Stay with us.